Hi class, how are you today? That's greater than or equal to great! Alright, so for the learning target for today, it's to be able to understand and graph inequalities. So if you're asking yourself, what is an inequality? Well, here it is. These 5 signs show some form of inequality, which means it's not equal to a specific number, but it at least gives you a range of what the numbers could be and what they couldn't be. Alright, so whenever you deal with inequalities, you're usually saying something and then the inequality and then some other thing. So let's just use random variables. I'm using x and y. So in the first one, what's being said is x is less than y. So x is some number that's less than y. For the next one, x is greater than y. For the next one, it's saying x is less than or equal to y. On the next one, it's saying x is greater than or equal to y. And the last one, it's saying x is not equal to y. So for this first one, it's saying x is some number that's less than whatever y is. The next one is x is some number that's bigger than whatever y is. And these can switch too. Since x is some number less than y, we know y is some number bigger than x. So it works both ways. You can read it both ways, that x is less than y and y is greater than x. Alright? These two, x can be some number that's less than y, but it can also be equal to y. And same thing backwards, y is greater than x or equal to x. This one, x is greater than or equal to y, or the other way, y is less than or equal to x. This one here, you may not see used too much, is x is not equal to y. So x is some number, and it can be many different numbers, but the one thing it can't be is whatever y is. So if we know y is 2, we know x is not 2. Something else, could be anything, but it can't be 2. Alright, now let's talk about graphing inequalities. So first I have a problem, x is greater than -2. So how do we want to graph that? First, we need to find the point -2. And if there is not a line underneath to show that it's or equal to, you draw at -2 an open circle. So you draw an open circle at -2. Then, everywhere greater than -2, which is everything to the right of that circle, will be shaded in. So just take your pencil and shade in that whole area. And that's it. You just do the open circle because it's not equal to, and then shade in everything to the right, because that's what the graph says. Now let's look at another example. We have x is less than or equal to 4. So the or equal to means we put a solid dot at 4. So at 4, we make a solid dot, and then we shade everything less than 4. So we shade to the left. Now this new problem, we have 2 is less than x. So remember how I said you could write things backwards? So if 2 is less than x, you want to switch that to make it so x is greater than 2. So if 2 is less than x, you want to say x is greater than 2. And from there, you put an open dot at 2, an open circle, because it's not equal to, and shade to the right. Alright, here's another problem to graph. We have -3 is less than or equal to x. So again, that's switched in the other direction, so that's the same thing as saying x is less than or equal to -3. So if -3 is greater than or equal to x, then x is less than or equal to -3. So we find -3, make a dot, and shade to the left. The last problem is x is not equal to 1. So for this, remember x can be any number, but it can't be 1. So we start by putting an open circle at 1. Then we shade everywhere else, both sides of the circle. So shade to the right, shade to the left. And that's it. Alright, that's it for today's lesson. Please make sure to take notes on this entire video. It was a rather short one, so it shouldn't be that hard. And please make sure to take a picture of your notes right now and submit them to me on eBackpack. Have a good night.